Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I'm going to guide you through why your makeup might be looking like trash, why it's crinkly, crunchy, not blending, not wearing through the day, where you might be going wrong. We're going to talk about my most loved tips and tricks. So let's dive on in. I'm in a mood. I am in a mood. I'm not sleeping well, you guys, because we have some kind of an animal that is inside of the walls. And I kid you not, it's like living in a haunted house in the middle of the night, hearing this scratch, 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 scratch. I haven't slept in days. So bear with me. We're going to talk first about the importance of cleaning your brushes. I want to encourage you before you go and run out and buy anything else new, like where to spend the cash, get a good brush cleaner. I really like the one from Eco Tools. This guy right here, you could do Cinema Secrets. I did actually start using that again. I know it's so toxic and whatever, and I don't like the scent of it, but it works. It's quick drying. We have a third option. This is the Lazy Girl Get It Done $1 find from the Dollar Tree. You could probably just use a sponge from your kitchen too, to be honest. When I'm watching my girlfriends get ready, or my sisters, I will see them like pull out of their little makeup bag the gnarliest makeup brushes. No shade, I love you, but to my sisters watching, they always are like, oh, don't look at my brushes. And here's the thing, it's unreasonable to go to the sink and be like washing your brushes every single night. And honestly, it is pretty unreasonable to be spray spot cleaning them every day as well. However, specifically with eye brushes, you guys just get in the habit. Get one of these and do this when you are done with your makeup. Before you take your makeup off at night, just add it into whatever routine scenario works for your lifestyle. But this will change everything with how you are applying your makeup. A lot of people will be like, my eyeshadow's not blending. And I'm like, how dirty are your brushes? Because if you already have pigment on your brush and you're like, oh, it doesn't really have that much on it, and you go and you pick up new, it's just never going to give you that clean original blend. Also, I do love having completely bare brushes on hand. This is a bonus tip within a tip to always smudge out, diffuse out the edges of whatever makeup might be on my place. If something has gone too far, like too punchy, too saturated, a clean brush is going to totally save the day. You can go into the crease and you can just, whatever you need to blend, it's not adding color, it's just kind of moving it around and reblending it. And the same thing on the face. If you have contour that's too strong, what you're gonna do is you are going to make sure you have a completely clean brush. You can then go in and really just diffuse whatever feels harsh to your eye. The reason we're talking about that brush tip right away is because I fell into my own trap. I clean brushes chronically all the time, but even I fail from time to time. I know, shocker, right? So I was setting my under eye and I didn't realize that I had bronzer on the brush that I normally like to go in to set my under eye, and I went like this. And it's like darkened my under eye. So I feel with my perfectionist eye, I'm like, my makeup's just not as good today and I just don't like it. And there's really no turning it back unless I was to start from scratch. So while you can always go on top of whatever mishap with a brightening powder and kind of pat things back to life, it's not going to be as good as if you didn't do that. So make sure you're cleaning your brushes for the sake of your skin and for the blend of your makeup. A few common sense don'ts. Do not forget to pull product down your neck. That is still one that I have to remind so many people about. At least take a bronzer down your neck if your neck is exposed, and then make sure if your hair is up that you're getting behind your ears. That's like a go-to must. Do not overdo the skin prep. You guys, I know we can all get carried away with all of the many products out there, but that does not mean you need them all on your face at once. You do not. Because if you go through even a simplified morning skincare routine, you're cleansing, you're toning, you got a serum, maybe a moisturizer, an SPF, and then you're going in with primers, it's a lot of product on the skin before you even get to makeup. So be a little methodical depending on what event you're going to, how long you need the makeup to wear, with how much hydration you are really putting on the skin. Even dry skin can only accept so much. So make sure, one, you're not overusing your products altogether. Like, don't glop on a ton of product. The skin can only handle and absorb so much, but also how many steps are we doing? Are we doing like 3 serums and a hydrating primer and an oil? Like there's a lot going on. Sometimes I watch this and I'm like, oh my gosh, that makeup is gonna fall apart in 2 seconds. I feel like by the time you get to like a bronzing drop and then we're going in with foundation and then we're using more creams on the face, and it's just a lot of layering. So if you are after that really fresh look with the skin, where you want your skin to look good, not just in camera, but in regular life, then I think it's really, really important to scale it back sometimes. So how do we do this? We make sure we're using a primer that is appropriate for whatever type of skin we have. We make sure that we're not overloading our face with too many drops that glow and bronze and this and that. You don't need a moisturizing primer and a gripping primer and a bronzing drop. It's just too much. Pick one. Anyone that has been with me for a long time is like, yeah, but Tati, you use 2 primers, you use a pore filling primer too. I do in my trouble areas, but I don't go all over the entire face. So really think about like, what are we tackling? What is the outcome that we want? And then pull it back. So I will even simplify my morning skincare routine, make sure I'm using the right kind of products that mesh with my makeup, but I won't do like an essence and a toner and 2 serums and a moisturizer and an SPF and the primer and the drops and the pore fill. What I will do instead is I will use a really great moisturizer. I'll do an SPF as a spray on top if I'm gonna be out in the sun, because really SPF is only good for a few hours anyway. So I actually think a spray on the go is better all the way around. But don't glop and tell me how it goes. Any of these tips, let me know how they go. Okay, if anyone has a tip for me, I'm gonna ask you guys to give me a tip on my hair. My bangs, when I went blonde here, she fried them, like she torched them. It's like I had a blowtorch and I was like, do, like not paying attention. And I damaged a lot of this. And so now I have all these pesky little, like they're short hair people. What do I do? What do I do? Because then I do this and like I've never had an issue with like flyaways, and I don't think I will ever go like blonde highlight again because of this business. We're entering the season of beautiful, dark, rich lips. Now, something that I see people do that just like, it is one of those weird things. When I see it, I'm like, like your whole look was fabulous and this one thing is ruining your makeup. Dry, crusty, I hate that word, crusty, crunchy lips, where like the skin is like dry and you can see that the gloss is just not doing enough and it's almost exaggerating it. And I've been there too. I'm not perfect. Like, holy smokes. Every single one of these problems, like I've had them. But I love finding products that actually tackle the issue. And then you're like, good, check that box, done. This one right here, this is not sponsored whatsoever. This is super expensive. And I almost wanted to like gatekeep this. I almost wanted to not tell because it's that good. I can't even say the brand name. I always say Augustus, like from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's not right. It's Augustinus Badir. Very fancy line. They have a ridiculously expensive body cream that's like, I want to use like a little like boop and like be like, please last, because it's so expensive. And honestly, it does not disappoint. So this line is top notch. This literally stays next to my toothbrush and toothpaste because I have put this in the spot of skincare routine. This does not go in my purse. This does not stay in the beauty studio. This is literally something I use every night before bed, and my lips have never in my life been smoother. I don't have to use a lip scrub. I don't have to do anything. I just put this on before bed. It's not even thick like an overnight lip mask. It is just chapstick. I don't effing get it. I don't understand, but I had to tell you guys because honestly, I feel like we're entering more dry weather, like winter weather. You know, we're barely in fall, but you get what I'm saying. Like we're out of spring, summer, and now we're approaching like the arena of dryness, right? This is going to save my lips this season. If you don't want to spend the money, you don't have the money to spend, go with Aquaphor, go with Laneige still is, no. Laneige, I feel, honestly, it feels good, it smells good, it looks better during the daytime, but as far as being like a treatment, I don't know how far you're gonna get. You can do an at-home scrub with a little bit of sugar and whatever chapstick Vaseline, whatever you have, you can kind of mix the two together and do a nice scrub. But I will say, just in general, making sure without fail every night of your life, putting on a good lip treatment, it's the way to go. Add in some good hand cream because the hands are the first to get it as far as aging, signs of aging goes, and you're just gonna win. All right. I always talk about subtle powdering when you're on the go. I don't put more product on my puff. This is from Stands Out Beauty. I love her. This is the closest to my Forgotten Love in the background right over there. Not spot on, but pretty darn close. Anyway, I like taking one of these and not adding more product and just kind of patting the face down. If you're on the go, take a smaller one or use the trick of a small brush and your powder on the go to get around the nose, get in the T-zone. Now, I also want to mention that if you struggle with hyperpigmentation like I do, and you want the skin to still have that freshness, we can do the same technique. You can take a smaller brush. You can take a concealer brush. It doesn't have to be densely packed. That's why sometimes I like mix matching, like using a crease brush that's intended for your eyes on the face. Use your tools how you want them. I always share that with you guys as well. But what you're gonna wanna do is take a really intense high coverage type of a concealer like Dermacol or NARS. They have little pots that are very, very high coverage. RCMA is great, but that's more of a pro line type of a thing. What you're gonna do is get rid of the hyperpigmentation first, put your foundation over top. Or if you're in a rush, you put on your foundation, and you guys often see I go back in with my foundation and I just kind of cover whatever area is getting to me, and I let it sit for a minute, and then I blend out the edges a little bit more. You don't want to be glopping on 2 full layers of foundation all over the face. Make sure you're only targeting what needs to be targeted. Q-tips in the purse always. If you have something in your eye or a situation where you feel like you got to get something, grab a Q-tip. If you have gunk in your eye, because a lot of us will just be like, that is not healthy for you. You want to make sure, especially in public, I hear Nurse Erica, like eyes, nose, mouth, no fly zones. You don't want to be poking your dirty hands here, there, everywhere and getting sick. So public service announcement, when you are out in public, eyes, nose, mouth, don't be touching. What you can do if you have gunk in the eye, if you have a little makeup fallout, if you have something that needs to be reblended, don't go in using your finger rubbing underneath the eye. You're going to give yourself premature wrinkles because the skin underneath the eye is so thin. Get a little pack like this. I just refill it like once a week or so, and I just keep this in my purse. Q-tips save the day. Lashes. Let's talk about lashes. Oh my gosh, these are my favorite ever for all time. I am out. Why do I have 2 of like the I don't know what happened here, but this is another overlooked lash problem. This is why your lashes are looking funky, why they won't lay down close to the lash line, why they're lumpy when you put liner over top of them. Okay, so I was surveying women and I was asking, when you use false lashes, do you just pluck them off of the container and then put glue on and go right in? What do you do? And a few people are like, oh, I trim them. And I'm like, okay, that's really good. Like, it is good to measure your eye. But I asked, do you go in and take the glue off? This gunky stuff that sticks it to the actual package? Literally every single woman said, no, you're supposed to do that. It's like this thing that we all think everyone knows, but they don't. And that's why I bring it up. So I hope this helps someone. If you're watching me and you're makeup advanced, you're like, Tati, I already know this. But this is going to help someone because really, I love a nice thin lash band. I will sit here for a minute and I will pluck all of the glue off so that it is perfectly clean. I'll measure it to my eye. I will then take a magnifying mirror, which is so helpful, go in so the lashes aren't going straight out. You kind of want them to be, how do I show you guys? You want them to go on like up. I need to do a separate like lash tutorial. Maybe we need to revisit that. I'll be talking about these things on my lives. I've started going live weekly doing just get ready with me's. So if you want to join me in real time where we're just taking our time and talking about all the little technical things that can make your makeup better, then join me for those. But yeah, just make sure you're taking that glue off. Always conceal the lash band. Like even if you're not wearing liner that day, just go in with a brown on a teeny tiny brush. Like the brush that I'm using right now is from Sigma. It's their 06 winged liner brush. Look how itty bitty that is. But you can just barely conceal that band. It makes all the difference in the world. There you have it. Make sure you're checking your makeup in daylight. Also snap a photo of yourself. We have technology that will tell us, hey, I'm looking good in the photo. Hey, I'm looking good in natural daylight. So do those quick checks before you go to any event. Something that I struggle with, this eye is such a pain in my butt because if I have allergies or if I've cried or if I'm puffy at all, it gets progressively like tinier. It can make me feel like I'm not as good at makeup as I feel like I should be at this stage of the game. Like I have my days where I'm like, oh, that went weird, like with my liner or the outer edge of my eye. And something that has helped me a lot is taking a photo looking down. Just snap a photo looking down. If you're worried about how even the eyes are, or if the wings are looking nice and even, or even if you need to do your own lash check, like sometimes I'll pull James and I'm like, how's the lash band? And I'll like look down and have him look and he's like, oh, the edge is kind of flipped up, because it's really hard to see on your own. You know, it's easier for a makeup artist working on a client, but it is hard to see on your own. Like you're checking while your eyes closed. It just kind of can be frustrating. So snap a photo, that can help a ton. Make sure you're checking your makeup in natural lighting. If you're going to be out and about, you want to see what you're really going to look like. So embrace the pop down mirror in the car. Make sure that everything's blended, because if you're doing your makeup in a lot of light, like I do here, sometimes my nose contour can be out of control. We're like going to the grocery store and I'm like, like it looked good on camera, which served its purpose, but you know, makeup looks different in different lighting. Switch your foundations seasonally if your skin is changing quite a bit. I make sure that moving into drier months that I am upping my skincare to be a little more comforting to my skin barrier, a little more hydrating. I do the same with my foundations. Now I still like a matte finish. I still want something that's not crazy luminous. So what I will do, and I've said this before many times, just take 1 drop of oil mixed in to your foundation. I love using a glass palette. You can use a little saucer, like a teacup saucer. You can use a lid of something. You don't have to have a fancy glass palette, but I like taking a few pumps of foundation, drop of oil, done. That's a way to kind of stretch your matte foundation that might be working better in the summer for fall, winter. This one right here is more of a long game tip, but I want to share with you because I'm noticing this on my forehead right now. If I get too carried away with the real makeup extending alcohol rich sprays like the 3-Second Infallible, which I love, or the Patrick Star One Size, or the Dermacolor, any of these pro sprays, which these are kind of a riff of, they all have a ton of alcohol in them. So use them selectively. Use this for special event, for performances, for a time when you need the makeup to really lock in. But this shouldn't be something that you reach for every single day. You will dry out your skin over time. Instead, look for setting sprays that say long lasting and alcohol-free. This is a good one from MAC, the Fix Plus Stay Over. MAC Fix Plus, however, this is also a debate. People are like, oh, but I thought MAC Fix Plus is gonna make my makeup last longer. Makeup setting sprays are formulated to either hydrate the skin or elongate the makeup wear or mattify the skin, so they can do many different things. Make sure you're paying attention to the ingredients a little bit and to it matching your skin type. That is really important. Do they work? Yes. This is something that a girlfriend was saying, I don't think that setting sprays work. Do you really think they work? Are they just hype? And I'm like, no, they work. They work so well that you literally can spray the face bare, like especially your eyelids. If you don't have time to do an eyeshadow primer, it will even help your eyeshadow to last longer, just that spritz with your eyes closed. It's a great tool to have, and it can help your makeup wear better, look better, take down a powdery finish in a snap. And I just wanted to suggest cooling it on these aerosol sprays. I love them, but I have noticed that my forehead is getting very dry from using them too often. So pull it back just a little. That is where we land. All of my tips and tricks. I do have more. I love talking about how-tos in beauty. It's like one of my favorites. I love doing fails videos. For some odd reason, I find them very, very satisfying. And I love teaching and helping problem solve. If you guys have issues, if you have specific questions, leave them in the comments. I get so many DMs, and sometimes I feel a little bit repetitive with my tips and techniques, but there are new people all the time that want to learn and are asking how to do this and that. And specifically, everyone wants to know how to make their makeup last longer. So make sure you're not overdoing the primer, overdoing the makeup altogether, using products that are correct for your skin type, setting on the go, but not in abundance so it gets crunchy, and use a good setting spray, but not one with heavy alcohol on the daily. There you go. All right. I love you guys so much. Go and have a great day, whatever you are doing. Thanks for hanging out with me in my totally weird mood. I don't know what the deal is with this day. Anyone else? Is anyone else having a weird one? I would love to hear about it. All right. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah.